Welcome all you heroes, villains, and innocent bystanders to another episode of A Girl and Her Unicorn comic book reviews. I'm Alan the Unicorn.
I'm Jenny, the girl.
The girl.
The girl.
I'm still saying that.
Okay,
It's
anyway.
funny.
It's like the new thing.
Yeah. The girl. Like, I feel like there should be sparkles and jazz hands.
We can add the jazz hands. I don't know about the sparkles, though.
Hands?
Someone
Can you add glitter
post-production.
too? Yeah.
Let's do that.
We will be reviewing the weekly comic books and giving our opinions, unsolicited opinions, and we will be spoiling books left and right. So if you haven't read your books for the week, make sure you stop the video, read your books, and then come back. Or if you want to be spoiled, please
Just
keep going. Eventually, we'll have the times of each book and the descriptions down below.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, let's get on with our start.
Okay, you first.
Am I first this week?
You're first.
I couldn't remember. So I really didn't have like a lot this week. I read a lot more online, I think. Downloaded a lot.
There are two books that I didn't get to read because Zane hasn't read them yet, and they're technically on his pull list, not my pull list. So
let's do Batgirl.
Okay.
So I had dropped this when they switched to the new costume, and she started in the new town, and then it just became really awkward. So I picked this one back up because I knew they were doing a new costume and kind of a new creative team.
Okay.
And a new artist, Paul Pelletier, which is one of my favorites. He's probably in my top 10.
Ooh, I like that already.
Yeah. So here we go.
Oh no. Is it just Margaret? Just
Margaret,
a different
that's
spelling?
what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It looks like Margaret Scott and Paul Pelletier
Okay.
as the artist. In this book, it's a continuation, so it's not a really good jumping on point because this is like issue 3 of this particular storyline.
Okay.
But Barbara is having issues with her implant in her leg, so she keeps waning in and out and having issues with her legs being able to walk and not walk, and she's having headaches and all this other stuff. Her memory's starting to go a little bit because she has an eidetic memory, where she like kind of like a photographic memory, where she remembers everything she reads. So the last issue they had, she had fought this villain, Grotesque, and then over this art stuff, because he's becoming more and more violent, killing things, killing people, and she tracks him back to this place, and then she finds out it's not him. She realizes it's not him, and then she goes, and then she passes out, falls in a dumpster. When she comes back to go back to the body, he's dead, and he's got a gold batarang in his chest. So the police are there saying, they're saying, oh, she did it. So that's where it starts off with, is her kind of and confronting the policeman, and she has her big grand escape, jumps out the window.
Goodness.
Yes, and so she's realized that this particular worm character is on the dark web, and she has to go and hack, because I guess he hacked Nightwing's body at one point, and so she has to go back and try to figure out how to stop him. Well, also, the worm has hacked the detective that is on the Gotham PD, and so...
With the trench coat.
With the trench coat. You know how much I love
Detectives.
the trench coats.
Detectives
He might
and
be
magic.
a magic user. You must have a trench coat in order to be a magic user.
This is true.
So, come to find out, the detective that's been on the case the whole time is actually the real Grotesque, and he's the one that's been killing people. Because he's trying to get a fix from the worm. The worm is like actually giving him these weird memories. It looks like somebody that he's lost.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of his drug. So he's like, you're just a user, and gives him this memory and lets him sit in it. And I guess that's why he keeps doing the things he's doing.
Okay.
So Barbara eventually escapes, kind of gets her stuff together, comes in, and she has a little confrontation with her dad, Commissioner Gordon.
And I have a soft spot for Commissioner Gordon.
I know.
How do you not
it's
love
the beard.
him?
Or the mustache. It's the mustache.
I think it's just like he's like the grumpy old man.
Yeah, and he's the dad you always wanted. Like,
Yeah.
that hardcore dad that just loves you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you want him, though. He's kind of a...
He's a little bit of a hard ass.
Yeah,
That's okay.
So they have a confrontation where it's basically, he's like, I've always pushed you. And she goes, I know, that's what kind of, it frustrates me. She's like, I'd like to fail at some point. I would have liked to know it was okay to fail. And, they have this touching moment of this father-daughter bonding. And he's like, please stay in. I have to go to this art gallery. We think we know where the guy's going to strike next. So we're going to try to stop him. And Barbara's like, okay, I'll stay in. Obviously, she
Yeah,
doesn't.
She Lies.
She goes
Lies.
to the old clock tower where the birds of prey used to be, and starts to hack the. Tries to find more evidence that the worm is hacking these people, and she figures out that she has been in this museum that her dad's in, and it's not Grotesque hasn't. They've already stolen the art, and so they're going to cover it up by destroying the whole building and killing everybody. And so she's like...
And so Dad's there.
Yeah, and Dad's there. So she's got to go, and she jumps on the bike. And then at the end of the pages is the detective that has that is Grotesque has shown up, and he's like, "Hey, Commissioner." So da 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 da.
Oh, and I like the way they did the art with that. Yeah, that's fun.
I really like Paul Hellser. I read him way back when he was in. He started on The Outsiders for a little while, and I really liked him then. But he's grown to be one of my favorites. He did a lot of CrossGen, which was another companies that went under. But they did a Space Odyssey one that was really good, and he did a lot of their art. And it's kind of interesting and fun. But story wise, I really like the story too. It's definitely getting back to where it's more Batgirl instead of like what it was, which was kind of this weird, I don't know, like bohemian teen thing that was. It was really odd. I don't know why they did that. And then now that Rebirth is back, then it's it's like I don't know. I don't know what they've been doing with Batgirl. It's been such a weird ride.
It's been kind of up and down, right? Like a lot of people have said that they're like, "Oh, I like it. Oh, I don't like it." It seems to be very two different camps.
Yeah, they did 52, and they kind of like they made her really kind of gritty and gave her a really good cast and stuff like that. And then it became this dark, like kind of a darker feel. And then they went to this weird place. Like she went, and it was almost like they de-aged her too. Like she was like almost like a 20-something, older 20-something, and then like when this new teen came on, they almost made her like a teen. Yeah, and, like she was like like 18 or something like that. And it was just odd. It was really odd because I feel like that old costume made her look really, really young and not like she's been around the.
Well, even the cover of this one, she looks very young.
Yes. But this one isn't even that. This one's better than what has been. So I still feel like she's like in her 20s something,
So
athletic
they
fit.
age back up. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not for sure how that's what they're doing, but I liked it. It was okay. It was good. I'd probably give it probably a 3 out of 5 unicorn horns, mostly because I really love the art and the story's kind of interesting.
Really nice.
But it's not really good to jump on. It's really hard to jump on this particular book, which I forgot to say was issue 28, and I just don't know. You'd have to probably go back a couple of issues, but I'm not quite sure where they're going to go with it. So I think they're kind of off to a decent start. Okay. So if you're not a Batgirl fan, this may be something that eventually you may get back into it. It's pretty good. If you are a Batgirl fan, you really like this issue. It's kind of got some good character development with her dad and kind of giving her this villain but still has this vulnerability with her having this implant that's not quite working. So
okay.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
I keep going back and forth about whether or not I want to jump on Batgirl, but I have so many things that I read that it's like...
I just finally gave up after a while. I was like, nope, I'm done. I just couldn't handle that. The new creative direction was just weird, and it was just really hard to get on board. And so I just quit. I got a few issues, and then I just gave up. And then they talked about this new costume change, and I was like... Interest speech. I was like, with the costumes. I know. I'm like, okay. I was like, and I really liked the costume because I hated the old costume. Yeah. The purple one. It was just atrocious. Like, oh my god.
It wasn't just bad. It was
yellow
atrocious.
Boots. Those yellow boots and that purple. I'm like, she's supposed to be like a dark, like she's a dark knight. Like, how is she gonna like hide in? I mean, granted,
yellow is not even at night. Yeah. Yellow is not a color that hides.
And granted, this one's like, but still, she's got this muted gray, and it's like it's way more. Different than
it is different than
that purple and bright yellow. So I just was,
Maybe you didn't like the purple and the yellow. Maybe that was.
I just wasn't.
You're like whatever it was. I hated it.
It was not good. But this new costume I really like because they got like the little bat symbols on her belt, little bat symbol on her gloves. It's a little edgier too. Yeah, it's a little more up to date, a little more modern. She's got this really cool backpack that she has underneath her.
It almost has a Cassandra Cain feel to it.
I could see that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's got a cute little backpack on the back.
Yeah. What was it that they always talk about Batman and his little, like his
utility belt?
Yeah, his utility belt, but like his
utility
little
bag.
Things. Yeah. It's like she added pouches. That's the word. She's just got a big one on her back.
Yeah, she's got
it's new.
Giant pouch.
It's new. Okay.
All right, what do you got?
I have some like interesting things.
You do. You have a lot of different ones.
Yes, this is so with Halloween this week, I figured I would talk about some of the little Halloween specials that I got this week. So this one's Vampirella, and I've always liked this character, but quite honestly, the last couple of series have been they've not been good at all. I don't know where they're trying to take this character. It's not been very good. But I was like, well, it's one shot, Halloween stuff. So
and she looks like she's in her classic costume.
She's in her classic costume, which I prefer.
Horrible Laura Croft thing.
Yeah, which bust your bubble. They actually bring that costume in on this one.
Oh.
But so this is two. Yeah, they do. They actually do trick you. It's two short stories. So the first one is Happy Death Day, Vampirella, script by Scott Lobdell, and the art is by Rafa Labasco. And then the second story is Trick or Treat, and that script is by Scott Lobdell and Blake Northcott, and the pencils are by Anthony Marquis. And they were cute little stories. Honestly, I was a little underwhelmed with this issue. So it just starts out with Chaos and Lilith talking about coming and destroying the Earth, and it's Halloween Day, and so she shows up in this very interesting costume.
Is that Vamperilla?
Yeah, it is.
Man, they're just... Wow, they went...
I don't know what to call that.
It's like a post-apocalyptic...
Yeah, it's very interesting. And so she's
like
spying on this girl who's like getting ready for Halloween, and it looks like, I think she's supposed to be dressed up like Negan from The Walking Dead.
Oh. Because
she shows up with a bat later. But so, at any rate, this girl, her name is Trina, she's meeting up with her friends to go trick-or-treating. It's her birthday. And this zombie-like creature approaches them, and they discover that he's not in costume. He is a real zombie.
It's a real zombie.
And so Vampirella shows up and a fight ensues. Everybody's running and screaming, and then she breaks out into the costume that was in her last series with the Lara Croftish.
So the other costume was probably her Halloween costume. She was dressing up to be dressed up to be dressed up.
Yeah, I don't know. And so, I mean, the whole issue is basically like it turns into a fight, and then this Cthulhu-type being pops out. The three of them team up to battle it. Oh. And then come to find out that, like, Vampirella doesn't know when her birthday is. And so Trina's like, well, this is my birthday, so basically we can share birthdays. You know, it was okay. Dracula shows up, you know, and it's
some exorcist action there with the turning of the head.
Yes. And so in the end, it's like all of these, like, dark side, like all of the children of the night come together to fight against the evil beings. It's like, we're not all bad. And then, like I said, it ends up being like, after said battle is won, a little birthday celebration where Vampirella gets to like blow out candles and a cake. Aww. So I guess now we're saying that Halloween is Vampirella's birthday. So that was the first story. I'll be honest, it wasn't that great. The second story is actually really short, like tongue-in-cheek, like with her kids coming to her door to trick or treat, and she's wearing the dress outfit that everybody hates, and everybody knows that it's kind of a joke. So the very last series, they put her in like this red, kind of like ripped up dress. It's not great. I don't know what it is with people feeling the need to like take her out of like the sexy costume. That's just who she is. Like it's not. It's not an anti-feminine, feminist thing.
You can still do a non-sexy costume, which basically like is not a costume. It's really just like ribbon, with the panties. But you could still do something like that and keep it more. I mean, you can make
Why can't it be empowering as opposed? You know, it's like if she likes this, then...
make it a one piece or make it a V-neck or like you don't.
I honestly don't have any issues with it. It's the way it is.
I know, but I feel like they go complete opposite.
So she has on like this almost 1940s housewife dress, and they're like trick or treat. And so apparently these kids have been told that there's this hot lady that lives at this house, and then they show up and she's dressed like this, and they're like, I thought you were hot, And so she's like, what? So it's kind of this cute tongue-in-cheek about her costume, really, is what the story is. And so the kids end up TPing her house. Well, I thought it was funny because there was, like, ding-dong. She's like, yes, another chance to traumatize the youth of America. So, I mean, there's some funny dialogue in here, but she brings up the whole, they want Vampy to go retro. Like, after she discovers that her house has been TP'd, she's like, oh, they want her to go retro then. So she comes out in her sexy costume.
Yes.
And the kids have actually been kidnapped by the scary clown who is going to decapitate them. And so she ends up like rescuing the kids and like basically turns them into her little slaves. It was very bizarre. It was literally like 4 pages long.
Yeah, that's just a film.
Yeah, this was just like little, like I said, little one shots.
They're so hard to do something like that when you have like a specialty book where it's just like a one shot or. And
for it being Halloween, it was fun. It was fun to have a vampy story that I wasn't just completely turned off by. But at the same, like the art was really good in the first story. I did enjoy it. I thought it was really nice. But the story wasn't that great. And then I would say the second short story was funnier, but I didn't like the art at all. I mean, it's just, I don't know. That kind of campy, cartoony isn't really my thing. It has an Archie feel to it, I think.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate in Archie, but I don't always like it in other things. So, I mean, honestly, it's probably, I mean, if we're going to be honest, it's probably like a 2.5 as far as like story goes. But it was fun. It's a fun little Halloween thing. And I do like the character, so.
Yeah.
You know, it was worse than middle of the road, I will say that. But it was a fun little read. So. There we go.
Nice. So I'm gonna let's do X-Men Red.
Okay.
Did you get to read this
I did read this one.
So X-Men Red number 9. Writer is Tom Taylor and Rogue Antonio is the artist. So he took over for
You remember artists better than me.
I know, but I can picture his name. I can't remember it. I think he did Dynamo 5 for a little while. Anyways, the previous artist, this new artist that's come on, is it's kind of like, it's got a similar style. I think it's very.
It was similar. I didn't pick up on the fact that the artist was different, but I could tell that the art was different. Yeah. So like you said, similar enough that occasionally I was like, well, maybe not.
It might have been the same person. No. There it goes. So X-Men Red's been really good.
I've really enjoyed
it.
It's been really good.
If you are not, if you're an X-Men fan, you haven't been reading this, you definitely need to pick this up. If you are not an X-Men fan, this would be a good book to at least try it out. Not this particular issue, because this particular issue is like finishing something off. Finishing like a storyline. Part 9. Yeah. So you definitely, it's not a jumping on story. But if you wanted to start at the beginning and work your way up to 9, they're all really worth it. The dialogue is really, really talented. It's got these cute little quips. I really like the characters. I think
development has been great.
Yeah, they use all the characters. It's not like there's a one character that they put off to the side. They kind of bring all of them in eventually and just kind of like make them into something that works well with this team.
This has been fun.
Yes, and I really liked the growth of Jean Grey. She's really become like a leader. So in this particular issue, they've been fighting Cassandra Cain, Xavier's sister, twin sister, that was killed in childbirth, but he killed her in vitro. He killed her in the womb, and then she ended up still living in him, and then she came into her own being.
Traumatic.
Yeah, lots of story behind her, which I really like her as a villain. She's a super strong telepath, so she's kind of just nuts. So it starts off with...
she's not kind of nuts.
Yeah.
She's certifiably crazy.
She's real crazy.
She's certifiably
crazy. She's a great villain, though. I really, really like her as a villain.
Because she's scary.
Yeah. And she just has, like, no moral code. It's just, like, kill everybody.
I mean,
none. She wants to ruin everything. It's pretty awesome.
I mean, if you were...
Some next level stuff.
It's bad. She scares me. Like, most bad guys, I'm like... I always kind of like the bad guys. But I'm like...
You need to go back and read the storyline where she actually came into it, where she ended up becoming.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good.
Add it to my list.
I think it's got George Jimenez does the art.
Oh well, then I'll like it.
Yeah. So, anyways, this particular issue, Jean Grey's talking to Kitty Pryde, and telling her don't come because Rachel's been left.
Yes,
Rachel Summers is left, and she's not called Prestige. Prestige leaves the X Mansion because Cassandra is controlling her, and so Kitty Pryde calls Jean. She's like, "Hey, she's on her way. We'll come help you. Let me get a team together." And Jean Grey's like, "No, I can handle it. I need to handle this. If you come, then she'll just control you guys." So she's like, "You just stay where you're at." So they have like a little plan together, and
this was really cute.
Yes, I just love how I almost want to kind of read X-23 just for Honey Badger.
Just for Honey Badger.
Because she is a really great character. Like she's
so cute.
There's such an innocence about her. I think a lot of times when
you have
badass. When you have But when you have like these older characters, it's really hard sometimes because they have so much baggage, and not that Honey Badger doesn't have baggage.
Especially
X-Men. They've had many years.
It's like the amount of baggage that the X-Men carry.
But even with her, like, there's a lot of baggage, but she's just like, it still has this innocence to her that kind of gives a little bit more dimension to
that resilience that I think kids have, really.
Yes. That's true. Yeah. That's a great way to put it. So they all got this plan, and she's, Honey Badger wants to help, but she's like, no, you can't help. I have to do this myself. And so they all are kind of like trying to support Jean, but also, they want to help her and they want to do all this stuff, but Jean's like, no. And they're still trying to build her up so that she still knows that she's being supported.
Well, it's funny because even this is kind of digressing a little bit, but like her whole interaction with Nightcrawler
and Rachel,
where it's kind of talking about her becoming the leader. She's almost like the mom too, because it's like you're trying to hide things from your mom, and your mom knows. You're like, how do you know this?
You're like, how do you know?
So I think that ties in with the whole like she's kind of becoming the leader of this group.
Yes, I totally agree. It definitely just cements this. I think this whole issue cements that fact. Because even with Storm has been the leader of the X-Men for a long time in many incarnations. And even her, she's kind of bowing down to is, just kind of, She talks about the shoulder pads in Jean Grey's costume, which I thought were awesome. Like, kind of a little, like...
He hates trench coats, but he loves shoulder pads.
I love me some shoulder pads. I don't know why. They look so dynamic. They just make you look, like, fit. So then it cuts to Cassandra's got Nova. Cassandra Nova.
I love that you just did that because Cassandra I do it every single time I read Cassandra. I say Kane in my head. Yeah. So this happened to me today when I read this issue.
Nova.
So that cracks me up that you just did that.
She's not Batgirl. So she's got Prestige on a leash, on a chain. Jean Grey shows up. Battles ensue. And while they are battling... they kind of establish what the other characters are doing. They're doing this. They're searching the internet, trying to find hope, because a lot of it is Cassandra's like disparaging the mutants and making it hard for them just to survive. And so that's one of the things that they're trying to do is combat that. And then they also, they bring in like Gentle. He's got the he's kind of I don't know what kind of.
I don't know how to explain him really.
Yeah.
Like, he's almost like a Hulk-like character, but it pains him, right?
Yes.
Like when he uses his powers. So I don't know how to explain him really. He's different.
He likes Trinary, and Trinary is another good, really new character that I like. And she,
this was funny. This whole
Honey Badger again. It's got some really good lines. She's like, can you help them please use your powers? Like, can you cut through the awkwardness?
Yeah, because he's trying to like, I want you to be able to trust me, Like, can I help you somehow? And it's just like this really awkward, like.
So that's really cute. Like, she's funny. Like, just ask her out, and so that's pretty funny.
Well, so Honey Badger has X-23 like, hey, can you make this better? And like X-23 just like lays it out.
Yeah, she's like, hey.
And then Honey Badger's like, oh no.
Can't take her anywhere.
Like it made it worse.
So then they cut to the battle between Jean and Rachel and Cassandra, and Jean offers herself up to Cassandra as a sacrificial lamb. Yeah. Just let Rachel go, and we'll all this stuff. Rachel gives her that 1-2 punch. Like they knocks her jaw off. I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
Because that bottom panel is like rough.
Yes, that was a really awesome panel. And then she frees Rachel, and then Cassandra just blows Jean to pieces.
Like...
Literally
blows her to pieces.
Like bone and fragments and everything like that.
Feet are flying.
Yeah. Like legs and limbs. Just obliterates her. But come to find out, it's not really her. She's like, do you really think I would send myself like there? This is war. And that's what the final thing is. Like, she's talking about how she's going to combat her or fight her the whole time. Everything they want. And now when she gets back to the... Like, her mind gets back to the other X-Men. She's like, okay, let's prepare for war.
Yeah, and so she used Cerebro to...
cast her image.
Yeah.
So...
I thought this was interesting, too, that they had Storm in this panel, because Storm should technically not be there. She should be out on the ocean saving...
She hadn't left yet.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't that have been after? Because she had sent her...
Oh, well, but she freed her. She freed Rachel, so she came back.
Yeah, but you would think Rachel would have been in that panel, too, then. I don't think that kind of makes sense.
Suspend some disbelief. Oh my gosh.
I was
It's like,
very
it's
literal
like,
with that.
it's like I tell my friend, I'm like, it's not a documentary, it's a comic.
I just was saying, I think that the panel was erroneous, but it's fine.
Touche. So I really, really like this book. I enjoy it. The dialogue's really good. The characters are really great, even though they're old. Like the characters, but they really feel kind of fresh and new. And even with the newer ones, they don't feel forced, which I think sometimes they do. Like they'll bring in a new character to kind of freshen it up.
Yeah.
And it feels like if they're trying to freshen it up. And this one I don't. Like I don't feel Trinary is like they're not concentrating on her so much all the time, and but they do bring her in to kind of help and
she's actually adding something to the team as opposed to sometimes you're just kind of wondering like what your purpose is here.
Right. Yeah. And
like we just need fresh meat. We don't necessarily need you to do anything.
Right.
We just want you to sit here and
we
look
just need
pretty.
you to give us a story so we can fight things with your story.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't feel like that. I mean, I think they do that in a couple issues, especially in the beginning when they bring Trinary in. But you don't feel like that. You don't feel like that's what they're trying to...
The story flowed well.
And so I really like it. So I would give it a 4 out of 5 unicorn horns. But I'm a huge X-Men fan, so
But I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I thought this was really good.
So and the art is amazing. The art is really stunning. This one
fits the story really well.
Right. This one is not as good as the other artists. It's still good. It's still really good.
It's like enough in the vein that it's accepted still.
But I think that's also hurts it too.
Yeah.
It's enough like the old artist that you compare it immediately to the old artist.
True.
And so that kind of hurts itself because it's not bad art.
No,
it's really not. It's really good. It's very, very talented artist. But I definitely like the other. I think Muhammad Asar.
Oh yeah, I do remember you talking about that now. Yeah.
But
sounds familiar.
They still do really good with this. So it's a really good book. I really like it. If you're not reading it, you should
highly
give it a
recommend.
chance. Yep, highly recommend.
I still am like,
all right.
I want to like check news and stuff to see if this is one that's like with the
They're
whole
gonna be
Uncanny
canceled?
thing. Yeah,
I
like
know.
if it's
And Jean Grey's on the cover
around.
of Uncanny, so I'm curious to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah, like how this is it gonna cross over? Are they gonna end that like at 10 or something? You know.
Yeah. We shall see.
Okay, I want to talk about another one shot. This one I liked. So this is another one of the Dynamite Halloween specials. This is Bettie Paige.
Which I love.
I love Bettie Paige. Like, I am a huge Bettie Paige fan.
If you don't know who Bettie Paige is, like, it's a huge, like, she's a huge icon.
How do you not know who Bettie Paige is?
Well, if you're younger, you probably may not.
That's
because
true.
even with the one-shots and she has a pin-up, you may not know the history behind her. And if you ever want to read a good documentary or read good information or see a good documentary, there's lots of great movies about her, and her life is so interesting.
Very
she's
interesting.
just the things that it's just amazing.
And I love the whole pinup thing. I've always loved pinups.
Yes.
And so this follows in the same vein as the Vampirella, where there's 2 short stories. And the first one is Pikmin Supermodel, with a script by David Avalone and art by Julius Ota. And then Haunting in Hollywood, which the plot was by Leah Williams and art by Fernando Ruiz. And I read the last Bettie Paige miniseries that was out. I think it was like a 12-part like maxi series. And the premise of that was the secret diary of Bettie Paige. So it's that Bettie Paige is a model and like an actress. She's trying to break into the acting scene, but she's also a secret agent for the government.
Which
fantastic.
is pretty much how I played it in my mind. Like,
and so
go on. This is my whole world. Like,
it's great. It was really cute and funny, and just it didn't take itself too seriously, and so it made it a lot of fun. Yeah. And so each of the and it was like one long story, but that was all pieced together. And so this is kind of it's kind of a continuation of that, where it's again she's a secret agent, and so this one is Pikmin Supermodel. And the art was great, which we will get to in a second. But she is basically on a set, and 2 of the people, so Pikmin or I guess it was McKnight. Anyway, sorry, names. I'm pulling an Allen on the names. But they approach her on the set to let her know that they have a mission for her to go on. And so they give her dossier of like items, which is I guess, what do you want to call it? Like one of those pop guns. And this piece of paper that has this interesting like phrase on it. And they tell her that, there's basically a monster has been let loose, and she needs to go because she's a model. There's an artist who is creating these things, and they need to dig deeper into it to find out what's going on. So they need her to go as a model to basically break into his house and see what's going on. And so she
'Cause
shows
he won't
up.
suspect her.
Yes. Well, yeah. It's so funny. And so she shows up. He almost looks like what's the guy from The Office?
Oh, I was thinking he looks more like Castiel from Supernatural.
I don't know that character, but so she shows up and just kind of plays like the dumb card, like, oh, I'm just here, you know, I heard you need models, and so I just wanted to come and see your work. And he's this very like his house is very messy and dirty and just
Kind of like my house.
Yeah, but this is like this is sleazy gross.
Oh.
You know, and so she's not hitting on him, but she's just kind of like, you know, hey, what's going on? And so he takes her up to the room where he does all of his art, and she was told that there was this book she needed to watch for that has like spells and whatnot in it. And so she sees the book, and so the dossier had told me to look out for this thing. And somehow, you know, McKnight's boys figured Pickman might have a copy of it lying around. So he did have it, and he cast some type of spell inside of his coat to create a dagger while she's looking at the book. And, you know, I'm a great artist, but no one understands my work. So she pulls the gun on him, and he, like, summons this
Cthulhu-like creature.
It
is Halloween,
but
it's not Halloween without Cthulhu.
Yeah, you know, of course not. Hello. So, you know, she's battling the Cthulhu, which is kind of amazing. And he does not have control of this monster so much. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. It's cute. And so the monster ends up taking over the artist because he feels like he is taking advantage of him and using him in ways that he shouldn't. So, like, he's been summoning him when he shouldn't. So the monster more or less takes out the guy, and then the words that were on that paper were like basically a spell to defeat this creature.
Oh.
So she memorized it and took care of the creature, and you know, the creature took care of the artist. Bettie Paige took care of the creature. And so they're like, I can't believe you memorized that whole spell. She's like, I'm an actress, of course I did.
I memorized all my lines.
I memorized all my lines. So it was cute. I really liked it, honestly. I thought it was so much fun. It was just, you know, it was great. The second little story was Bettie Paige has been invited to this costume party, and so I can never remember this girl's name for some reason, but it's her friend who works with the government that kind of helps her on all the missions. And so she was supposed to come to this party alone, but she figured, oh, no one's gonna notice an extra beautiful girl. You can come. So she shows up. She's dressed up like a cowgirl, and then Bettie Paige is dressed up as a call girl.
That's awesome.
So she's got like the retro phone on for her bra, and then she's got her little I don't even know what you want to call this.
Is it a blow-up doll?
Yeah, I don't know. So
that's awesome.
They show up to this party.
Basically, she's naked.
Basically.
With a bra and some weird panty.
Yeah.
And some fishnets.
But it's very Bettie Paige.
Very Bettie Paige.
So they show up to this, what's supposed to be a party, and it's empty. You don't hear any music. You don't see any other people. And then the door locks behind them, and this monster jumps out and attacks them. So they're having to run through the house. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Come to find out, as she's shooting the monster, that it is just a projection. And there's this woman who has actually put this whole thing together because Bettie Paige has been stealing all of her roles. And you think, oh, well, that's just it. Well, no. This woman is actually an alien. It was just so tongue-in-cheek. So that was the end of that. I'm like, that's just how it ended. Just like, and then
done. And then she whisks away to a UFO.
And then the alien goes up into
away.
her little UFO ship, and that was the end of it.
That was very anticlimactic.
It was very anticlimactic, but at the same time, it was just so like cute and funny. So I gave this one gets a 4 from me because of just the tongue-in-cheek of like, these are Bettie Paige stories, so you're not expecting a whole lot, and the fact that they're not a whole lot actually adds to what makes it fun.
Well, I think it adds to the Bettie Paige mythos anyways.
Yes.
Bettie Paige is like, you know, that was definitely something that was, you know, that she was just not, she was just a sex symbol, and that's all it was, but she actually really, like, again, if you ever get a chance to watching this stuff, like, you find out that she was not, she chose things very wisely, and, like, the way she lived her life was very smart, but she, like, so it's kind of funny. They just make her look so ditzy, but then she's like this really...
And she plays the card like she knew that that's what people expected from her.
Yes.
You know? The art, specifically in the first story, was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Like, I loved, it had kind of that, not noir, because it's not necessarily dark, but just really clean, pretty art.
Yes.
The second one was more, like, cartoony fun, but it matched the ridiculousness of the story really well. So, if you like Bettie Paige, if you're interested in Bettie Paige, you like Halloween stories, this was just a fun...
Yeah.
I loved this
Nothing
one.
serious.
No, nothing serious, but just I loved this a lot. So that awesome. I'm very happy to have that one in my collection.
All right.
What's next, my Ellen?
I'll let you pick. Should we do Odyssey or Silencer?
Which one? Let's do Odyssey.
Okay. So
I care about Silencer more.
Odyssey, I'm going to poop on.
Okay,
Justice League Odyssey #2. I got the Terry Dodson cover, which I love.
Love Terry Dodson.
Yeah, this cover is amazing. So if you are not familiar with what's going on, is Source Wall is broken. The Justice League broke up into teams. They fought like this. They found these trees on this world. Brainiac, all this stuff ensued. So now they're kind of hashing out the aftermath of those particular books, the No Justice books. And so this particular team is brought together and for there's space theme. So that particular team is Cyborg, Starfire, Azrael, Green Lantern, the Jessica Green Lantern, and then Darkseid. But it's not the original Darkseid. It's the Darkseid's son, or the Darkseid Reborn. Like Grail had birthed him.
So this is baby Darkseid?
Right. Darkseid's dead, I guess.
Oh,
this is like the newborn.
I guess I didn't pick up on the fact that it wasn't like still him.
The reborn. It's him, but it's not. It's like he's like semi-depowered, but he's not.
So he still hasn't gotten all of his powers back from.
That's kind of what I'm understanding.
Okay.
That's the way I understand it. Is like
really
he's not quite
Darkseid.
Super big Darkseid. He's like Darkseid light.
Like no lie, it was the only thing I really liked from Metal. Was baby Darkseid. Like,
Darkseid.
I want someone to make me a baby Darkseid.
Well, then he was in Wonder Woman for quite a while. He was the kid, and Grail was in the.
And I liked Grail.
Yeah, she was a really awesome character. I really liked what they did with her. So this particular issue starts off. Obviously, the first issue sets everything up. This is the continuation of that. They met Darkseid at the end of last issue, and they kind of attack him and start off with this issue. Joshua Williamson is the writer, and. Oh gosh.
I think it's still
Stefan. See? Sajak?
Yeah.
Does the art. And then, so they're fighting him. Darkseid pretty much puts a smackdown on all of them. Obviously, it's Darkseid.
Because Darkseid is.
Yeah, because Darkseid is. And then Jessica.
He still has that costume that you hate, though.
Oh my god, it's horrible. Like, it looks. I don't see what is this? Like, why is this? I don't understand these, like, what are the, I don't know.
He doesn't like this whole medieval
The flap thingies. I don't understand the flap thingies. They're just so ridiculous. I like the collar and everything, but those flaps are killing me. So, the Green Lantern kind of traps him, and he breaks free, and then he grabs Cyborg, and he brings them, and in the last issue, he talked about all of them, the three of them, Cyborg, Starfire, and Azrael being gods. But it really kind of is weird, because they've already got all these statues to these worlds. So it's kind of like they've never been to them. And so he shows Cyborg the statue of Starfire. And then all the rest of the team shows up, and Darkseid's gone. Mysteriously, he's gone in the wind.
Yeah, of course he is.
And then they all are like, why do you have a statue? And they see all these dead aliens on the bottom of the statue. And so they go down. They find one alien that's alive.
With 4 arms.
With 4 arms. They all have 4 arms, yes. And then they start to translate, and he tells them the story of how, like, they worshipped, they were, like, a warring nation, but then they started finding peace, and then once they found peace, they were a warring nation, they found peace because Starfire kind of helped them realize the gifts, and she said she would be back. And so they find peace, and then Brainiac steals their planet. And they
Brainiac.
I know, he's such a douche. So then when the planets got re-enlarged, then they had they had an attack, and like somebody came and killed all of them off except for him. He hid, and he wasn't gonna give them the piece to the cosmic key, which is supposed to be to the multiverse. And they start trying to do some kind of character interactions between like Cyborg and Azrael and everybody. And Azrael's like, I'm gonna go find my people or my statue and see what's going on. And they're all like, "Do you stick together?" And it's just Cyborg doesn't want him to be there. He's mad because he's stowed away, and it's really kind of an odd interaction. And then the priest finally gives Starfire the key, and she reads it. And when she reads the language on there, she starts to like go crazy. Like her powers start to go crazy, and so she's like, "You need to get out of here." And that was one thing the Darkseid said in the first book was they were either going to be like the liberation or they're going to be the death of everything. And so she's kind of losing her power, losing control over her powers, and so they're not for sure. They're kind of leading up to she's going to destroy the planet from her overload. But like, I just don't know. I
mean, it sounded kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's got
better than issue 1. No,
it's okay. It's okay. There's nothing. I mean, like, I just don't think it's my bag.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying not to be super critical about it. But I don't understand.
On the fence.
Well, it's just like it's very confusing. Like it's very hard for linear thought. It's very much seems like there's like either past and present things that you don't know about yet, and that's super confusing. Trying to like
give you a piece at a time,
right? And it's just like okay,
no, I need more. Well,
I just need like a premise. Like I get the small premise, like they just like throw out the big, but I don't know. Like I don't know if it's just not the premise itself is not interesting enough for me to keep going. But I really don't care. Like I'm not a fan of any of the characters. The characters are okay.
Yeah.
The dialogue isn't that great. It's a lot of stuff. I think that's the other thing is like instead of maybe they are trying to piece it together too quickly because it's almost like they drop this bomb and then they have to explain everything. Like it's just word after word after word after word, and then they have to go backwards and they have to start explaining what the history of this planet. And it's just not my favorites.
Okay.
But I may not just be my bag, so I'm trying to again stick with it to issue 6, and then that way I'll judge it then.
The art
but right now pretty. The art's very pretty, and he's a very talented artist.
I like the way he draws these characters.
Yeah, it fits. Some of the stuff is very I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Cookie cutter-ish.
Yeah,
like all the men kind of look like
last
the same.
issue you made that comment that everybody kind of had the same body type. And...
Yeah, the men have all the wide shoulders, the thin waist, and then like a quad, and then the women all look, like they look kind of similar. It's almost like a very stamped out.
It's very pretty though.
Starfire has red hair, so we'll put this body, and then we'll do red hair. And not that it's bad because it is really.
I really like the from what I've seen so far. I really like the art in this.
I really think
it has like a very ethereal too, like the way he's doing the colors.
That's what I really think the colors are what I really like about this book. Is it's very kind of a muted palette, but it's not like it's very popish with like Starfire's hair or Azrael's flame sword or the energy like when the Green Lantern does the dragons.
That's a really cool panel.
Yeah, like I mean, they have some really neat stuff, but I do
really like this Darkseid. I know you're not super pumped about his costume, but I like the way they're drawing him, though.
I don't mind.
Like he has a very cool. I don't know. He looks cool.
Stone-esque face, but like I mean, like even like his
it's
calf
a very
right
modern
here.
Darkseid. It's like taking.
So on the first page, like his calf, like it looks like it's just like a bam bam.
He looks very powerful.
Yes, and I wish they would do something, I don't know, get rid of those little flap things. Can we burn them off? Can they blow up or something? But all in all,
he gets very caught up in costumes.
Well, I think that's the hard part too. Is like I'm a very visual person, so when things don't match or work well,
or if you just don't like it.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's possible to do too. Well, Azrael, I don't like Azrael. Like I don't like the character. I don't understand
his point in this.
I don't either. I at all.
Well, I didn't even know he was
out of
there.
all the cast of people you could have used,
yeah,
like I could have.
I feel like he popped out of nowhere, and we're like, how did
Really?
he get here?
And not even,
Why are you here?
Not only like Batman people don't even want to use him. Like he's not.
True.
Like his character is just not. Just let it go. It's just not.
I think he was in Detective for a while, but he's gone now.
Yeah, it's just not a. I don't know. Like the character is just odd, and it's really odd for him to use him in this book.
Yeah,
and that maybe
it's different.
I don't know.
We'll see.
So I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 unicorn horns. But if you're like into space adventures, maybe something you may want to check out, especially since it's issue 2. You're not gonna be far behind. You don't have a lot of catching up to do. But yeah, so I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5.
Once Zane finishes his copy, I'm gonna read it.
Yeah.
But
all right,
I haven't got there yet.
Okay. All it is.
Should I continue with my magic theme, or should we talk about Titans?
I don't have that kind of strength. Let's do we talked about Titans last week.
Okay, so
we can do it really quick.
I'll do just a quick review of Books of Magic. So this is from the Sandman universe.
I kind of want to.
This one, there's a couple of the Sandman universe that I haven't liked as much, but this is one that from that initial, like the launch book, that I was like, ooh, this looks kind of interesting.
So you know the history behind this, right? The controversy?
The Harry Potter controversy, right? Okay, I've heard a little bit about that, which is hilarious because right now my son is super into Harry Potter. So, like, that's our whole world right now is Harry Potter. So maybe that's why I'm like, this is fun. Sorry if that's the case. But, so it starts out... You'll have to tell me more about this controversy because it's apparently a thing.
Yeah, well, the similarities are very striking. And I don't quite know all the timeline of everything, but I do. I'm not for sure how that all. But they are different characters.
Yeah. So the book starts out with him. There's this group of, I believe they're magicians. It's
Constantine, Phantom Stranger.
Okay, is that who that is? Okay.
That's Dr. Colt, and I'm not for sure who that's supposed to be.
Okay. I wondered if that was Constantine. So they're talking to him about, do you believe in magic? Do you want to learn the ways of magic? You need to say, yes or no. And so they take him on these, basically if you choose magic, these are the adventures that you can go on, and so it's them taking him on these different adventures and them asking, do you choose the mundane life or do you choose the magic life? And I believe his name is Tim. And then when they're asking the question, someone yells his name out and he's like, magic, I choose magic. And he's actually been daydreaming, so he fell asleep at school. And so the teacher's just like, you choose what? And he's like, sorry. And so she continues teaching, and I don't know, it's like, did he want to be a magician before?
I never read I never have read the books of magic.
I don't know any of the backstory, and so
I just know the controversy, and I've never actually read it.
Okay, so he, asked his friend Ellie, do you want to see some magic? And she's like, oh, sure, like a trick. So he goes to do the trick, and it doesn't work. And so then he kind of gets bullied a little bit by some of the other kids who were already being hateful to him, but then this was just one more thing for them to tease him about. And it turns into this fight. The teacher has to come in and break them up. Now, the interesting thing about this teacher, if you read the first book, where it kind of introduces all these stories, I can't tell if she's a bad guy because it appeared in that book that she killed the teacher that was supposed to be there. She's like the sub.
Oh.
And he was also into magic, and so she kind of killed him. She killed him to take over this position. I think so. But then, as the story progresses, as the story progresses,
she's kind of a good guy.
She pulls him into her office, and he's been going through a lot because, he lost his mother, and it's obviously that has quite the effect. And
who is it? Who is this? Do you know her name?
I don't know her name.
I wonder if it's Dr. Colt, like his other half.
I don't know if they've actually said her name.
It's Rose. I have to look it up.
But
okay. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, she, and this is something else that kind of the plot thickens, is that he says that I didn't lose her; she's just gone. So I don't know what happened to his mother, and I don't know if they've actually said yet, or if that's something that we'll discover through the story. And she's just like, that must be hard. But then of course there's the magic, and she pulls up a flower, he was supposed to take these colored pieces of paper and turn them into flowers. It didn't work. Just the crumbled piece of paper just fell. Well, he's like, how did you do that? And she's like, no, well, you did that. So apparently the magic did work. It's like, I don't know. And so, she's basically just like, you're going to have to, you're going to have to make a choice. What choice are you going to make? And she gives him, so here it says your destiny is to find your magic in books, Tim. So you need to find these books and learn from them. And it's kind of like in the Neverending Story where it's a blank book and it like tells you what you need to know. And so he's just kind of annoyed because he's like,
say my name, Bastion, say my name.
Exactly. And he's like, how am I going to learn anything if all these books are blank, And she's just like, the books will tell you what you need to know as you're ready for it. And so he leaves the school. He runs into this character named Hetty. So still, again, with this being issue 1, there's just a lot of these pieces that I don't know.
And not being in the...
and not having read any of the Sandman
first,
previously. I don't really know who these people are. And so they have this conversation about how he might need a fidget spinner. And so she gives him a yo-yo. So I don't know how that's going to play in, but it seems like it may be important later. And so...
it's a good possibility.
Yeah, so he goes home. His dad's sitting there watching TV and just saying, hey, I heard you got in a fight today. He's like, oh, it was nothing. He's like, well, did you win? The only reason to fight is, to win. Remember that? And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever, no problem. But then the dad says fighting won't bring her back, Oh. So it's like, this is a big deal. The mom thing obviously is a big deal. And then he goes into his room, he throws his bag down, and he picks up the book and is like, okay, I'm ready to learn. Just tell me what I need to know. And so it opens up and it says, magic is neither good nor bad, only its use determines its character. There are always consequences for its youth. He's like, I don't want consequences, I want magic. And then everything starts to disappear. And he's frustrated because he's like, I'm ready. It's like the book is basically telling him that he's not ready because of, I think, his emotional well-being at this point. And he picks up a picture of his mom. He's like, I'm ready, I have to be ready. But you're like... but why? Like, does he need to go find his mom? Like, I don't know. But then, the next page is the magician has opened the book first and steps must be taken. So there's these 3, I'm assuming, wizards.
Fates, yeah. Looks like...
Or is that the Fates? Okay.
I don't know.
That are standing around a barrel and they're basically seeing him look at this picture. And some books must not be read. And it's one of those, or I don't know. He's standing there with knives outside of Tim's window and then you see the teacher... watching.
So this particular teacher looks like the persona of Dr. Colt. Dr. Colt was the guy with a trench coat, old time trench coat, but he shares a body with this woman. Okay. And so sometimes he's a woman, sometimes he's a man. Okay. So I wonder if that's him. I'm not for sure.
Well, I was intrigued by this. Like, there was a lot happening in this issue. So a lot of pieces that I'm not sure how they fit and how they go together. But I thought that it read well. Yeah. There's some interesting character development that's happening. Know. Yeah, I want to know what happens next. I will definitely be picking up issue 2. And out of all the different Sandman series, this is probably the second one that I've been like, oh, I'm really interested in what's going to happen with these characters. The art was nice because it was different. Like, it's not a style that I've seen a whole lot in comics.
I really like the art,
but it fits the story perfectly. So overall, I mean, this gets a 4 out of 5 from me. I really enjoyed the story. I'm very interested to see where it's going to go and how these characters are going to develop. So, Books of Magic, pick it up.
Yeah, awesome.
I liked it.
All right. So now we're done, right? We got to finish our pull list.
We finished our pull list. Well, we finished those. What's in our pull list?
Yes. So I also have X-Men Black. It is the first Juggernaut, but it is the 3rd in the X-Men Black series. 4th. Mystique, Magneto. Mojo. Yeah, 4th. So this is the 4th one in the X-Men Black series. First Juggernaut one. It was okay. I really had high hopes for this series that they were gonna do something kind of fun.
You haven't really liked any of them.
No, I same with this one. 2 out of 5. The art was I really did not dig the art. It was so, I don't even know, like
kind of blocky.
Yeah, and it's almost like a cartoony, but not even a good cartoony. It's just kind of.
I don't like the faces.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. It was okay. So I say 2 out of 5. The back issue wasn't even, or the backstory with Apocalypse. I don't know, just not very good. Then we did Wonder Woman 57,
Yeah,
Witching Hour. So good.
I really liked
I'm
it.
really liking it. They kind of bring in what happened to Witchfire, and
I was excited. Actually, in my head, I went, "Oh, Alan's gonna be happy."
Yeah, I was like, finally,
Because Witchfire.
I thought she was gonna like. Is it Witchfire? Yeah, Witchfire.
But I guess she's dead.
Yeah, I guess they did. She did burn out.
But
then.
she's still there, so it's, magic characters.
That is true.
They
like
can
if they
come
want to
back.
bring her back, they'll probably bring her back. But yeah, I
She
liked
can
this
be
issue. It was
summoned.
kind of fun. It was interesting, and the story was kind of cool.
I
so.
enjoyed the color palette going back and forth between like the Witch Moon and the.
Yes, and I'm really neat to see. I really want to see the next. What happens with the next?
Well, I love this cover right here.
Yes, this cover is to die
so
for.
So witchy, I love it.
So awesome, like this glowing thing and her
Prison
face.
just keeps outdoing herself with these witching hour ones.
So good. And then I had the Silencer number 10.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read it?
Not yet. Zane still has it.
So it was okay. It was the end of the end of a story arc, and I actually liked this one.
Thank God.
I know. I don't know if it was because it was the end of that story arc finally, but I liked this one. This particular issue was pretty good, so I'd give this. This one I definitely give a 4, possibly a 5.
5
out of 10. I really enjoyed this. This one I probably give at least a 3, possibly a 4. I mean,
it makes me happy because
there's
we've not been happy with this last story arc.
There's finally some finishing. It's finishing up, and so I liked it.
Yay.
And then Titans. Honestly, I'm gonna say a 1 out of 5. They're just going downhill. It's just not. This whole Drowned Earth thing is not a good story. I don't.
I kind of liked this one more than the last one. But I did like that they pointed out the fact that she hasn't actually told anybody about Roy, so that made sense. In the last issue,
though, is also why isn't Wally West? Wally West was a Teen Titan, so why are they not bringing him up at all? That's true. Like, and he's dead too. So
there's some talk in the world that is Wally really dead?
Oh,
that's there was something in the news that they some people are speculating that they're talking about all these other characters being dead, but they're not talking about Wally being dead, which makes us wonder: is he gonna come back somehow?
But they have him dead in the back.
I know.
So I'm.
But yeah, they're not addressing it in any of the other comics.
They are not.
But they're
They keep bringing up Roy.
Yep.
They bring up Nightwing getting shot, but they do not bring up Wally West. So that was kind of weird. Yeah, the cover's pretty.
And this Garth character's interesting. I've never read anything with him, so
he's okay. He's kind of he started to be interesting in the last Titan series, and the art's okay. I
thought the art was good.
I'm just not.
I liked the art, but the story is just it's kind of weak.
Sadly, I will finish the I'm going to finish the Drowned Earth arc, which I don't know why, but I will finish it, and then I think I'm going to be done with Titans. I think that'll be my last Titans.
Yeah, I'm at this point. I am with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish Drowned Earth, but I'm not. Something will have to happen with this story for me to care about this team at this point.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't have thought that Nightwing. I mean, but even when Nightwing was still in the storyline, I was kind of not enjoying those issues either. So we'll see. So to finish off my pull list, I had Detective Comics. This is
we didn't talk about Tom King?
He doesn't write this one.
Oh, okay. I was like, how did we end up on that? How did we mess up on that?
He doesn't write, yeah. But this is another piece of the story with Two-Face. It was good. I was a little underwhelmed by this issue. I'm kind of ready for them to. I've really been enjoying this story, but I'm kind of ready for them to wrap it up at the same time. So I will continue to read this. I mean, it still gets still a solid, probably 3.5. It's still, I didn't like it as much as the last one. I'm going to give it a 4, but it was still really good, and the art's great. Detective has been really good. Issue 4 of Star Wars Adventures, Tales from Vader's Castle.
You really like this one.
This is cute. I like it. I like just they're taking the little horror twist on some of the little Star Wars stories, and it's cute. There's Ewoks. How are you going to say no to that? So I like it. A lot of people
hate the Ewoks.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand how you hate the Ewoks.
I don't understand how people cannot love the Ewoks.
I don't get it myself.
But but then people that know me well would be like, well, you like monsters and little animal things.
I think that maybe what it was is people they are kind of cheesy, but I like that.
But they're cuddly
they're
and
fun
just
and they give humor.
I love them. So this has been cute. The art has been
fun. People that don't
fun.
have joy don't like Ewoks.
This is true. I agree with that 100%. Fight me. And then this is actually one that I haven't even gotten to yet. This is the one on my pull list that I haven't read, but this is Beast of Burden, and I enjoy this. Mike got me started on this. He actually bought me the first trade as a gift, and it's really cute and sweet and sad. This is a surprisingly deep book. Yeah, I don't need.
No,
you can't read
no,
this one.
I won't read that one.
So I don't know what happens in this issue, so I can't rate it, but I do enjoy the story. So
I was trying to look and see if I had anything really good on my pull list from like I download a lot of stuff like the day if I don't want to collect or I want to try it out. The only thing I really this week that I tried out was Spider-Girls, and I'm actually a huge advocate against Spider-Man. I think he has way too much publicity, and
up there with Wolverine.
Yeah, up there with Wolverine. But I actually like the Spider-Girl ones. Like I read the Spider-Man and the when they did the Spider-Verse crossover, and there was this like family of people that are living off the energies from killing other Spider-Men throughout the not the multiverses, whatever they're
the
Marvel version of the multiverse.
multiverse.
The other Earths, and this one they actually have a the Spider-Girls all get together, and I really like them. Oh. And the art was really fun, so I thought Spider-Girl was kind of fun, too. So, I mean, it's interesting. I'll probably pick up the next issue and see how it's going to go.
I will check that out then. Yeah, that surprises me.
I know. I hate,
I'm a little surprised.
Spider-Man, but I like the Spider-Girls. Like, I liked the Gwen Stacy character.
Okay.
I didn't like her book particularly because the art was just atrocious, and I just couldn't get on board. It was so hard.
Yeah.
And just, like, it hurt my eyeballs. And so I didn't get that one, but I like the character. But the Spider crossover, the Spider-Verse crossover, that was really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a different, I guess, spin-off from that. So
cool beans. Yeah. I like it. So it's a pretty full week.
Yeah,
I feel like all my weeks are full because I just read way too many things.
I know. Apparently, I need to get back on board because I'm just not reading any of the things.
I feel like I need to read less things, but then I feel like I'm missing things. It's like that whole fear of missing out. I have major FOMO when it comes to comics.
Yeah.
And so...
like, you just don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah, but it's like, I hate feeling overwhelmed, but I hate missing out. There's going to be that one person that asks
you the question about that one book, and you're like,
yes.
I don't know the answer.
Yeah, like, I want to know all the things. But...
oh, well.
It was a good week. It was a fun week. I really enjoyed
One day we'll find a good medium, I think.
Probably not. That doesn't seem to be a thing.
That's true.
It's like I'm constantly looking for balance, and I'm never finding it.
It's because its balance is merely an illusion.
This is so true, but the Libra in me has issues with that.
And on that note, well, we hope you have a great week, and hope your pull list is full. Bye.